For the upcoming budget 2016, Malaysian Rating Corporation's chief economist Nor Zahidi Alias' budget wish list is for the government to tweak the BR1M handouts. He hopes that the government will give preload top-ups through the MyCard system so the money will be used for essential items and not tobacco and alcohol.
Number one is the BR1Ms, okay? That's the one which I think they will fine-tune. It can be more effective if it can be tweaked a little bit and focus on the groups which really need it. For instance, like school children. It has been done in other countries, like Philippines, where instead of giving cash, you can actually load MyCard, for instance, with some amount of money for school children. And they can actually spend it at schools. Number two is you can actually also give it to a member of the household who can actually spend it at major hypermarkets and so on, instead of giving cash. Because sometimes when you give cash, you're bound to have people spend it on tobacco and alcohol and sort of thing. BR1M can be made conditional. Studies by World Bank, okay, that they've done before, it can actually provide some positive thing for the economy. But it has to be done in a proper way. Make sure that you get to the targeted group and make sure that it's not being misused. It has actually worked in other countries, but I think in terms of Malaysia, we have to look at it overall and see how we can make it more effective if we were to continue with BR1Ms. There would, I think, would also be some measures, maybe additional reliefs for middle and low income group. These are the measures which the government may introduce to support private consumption. Yeah. Going forward, with all this, I can feel that the growth in consumer spending would come down, and to us it's going to be slightly above 5% for next year. Even though you have that sentiment going down, consumers are still to some extent being supported by easy credit, by the financial institutions, and that helps to support consumer spending to some extent. You have a labour market which is not really deteriorating significantly, even though you see the layoffs in oil and gas, you see the layoffs in the banking sector. But in terms of unemployment rate, it has not actually gone up significantly. And also you have access to credits, relatively easy compared to years ago. So that helps to buffer the drop in consumer spending. But I do agree with you that consumer spending in terms of growth is going to come down next year. I think there would still be an emphasis on the supply of affordable homes as well. We have different sort of programs, and I think it can be consolidated because some people just got confused with different programs. That's number one. The speed of the implementation is something that the government can actually update the rakyat. Because right now, if you go and see the information on websites, you can see the plans that they have, the kind of take-up rates. But in terms of the completion rate, it's something which we have yet to find out. So the government can actually update us on the speed of implementation of all this to assure the rakyat that this is really coming, and supply of homes coming. On the property market, recently, prices, in terms of growth, prices are actually moderated. But in terms of levels, they're still pretty high. What we can do is actually, for stamp duties, you have this stamp duties for the first and second home. Third onwards, it should be higher and probably flat rate. Property developers give rebates. They actually increase the price and give back the rebates. And so you don't have to pay the down payment. But because of that, they tend to actually build in that rebates in the price of the house that you're buying. That could actually induce prices for homes as well. If you were to ask me, I think 2016 is going to be the trial, which I think we would feel the impact, the entire impact of the sharp decline in oil prices on the revenue. If we can actually boost the revenue through, or actually by getting more from GST, more than we expect, For instance, like right now, 7.6 billion in the second quarter, and if we were to annualize that, that would be about 30 billion. And we can get that sort of number next year, 2016. That's the kind of thing which we need to sustain the budget deficit at 3% of GDP.
According to Nor Zahidi Alias, this time round it is going to be a cautious but also a delicate balancing budget to support the economy as well as to ensure that the fiscal deficit is on track. He expects that the country's easier credit to help buffer the drop in consumer spending next year. Zunaira Saieed, the Star TV.